Off here, it's going to be Wardell here on the Jet, and they'll start us off on attack.
Definitely going to see Wardell in this Jet. Hopefully we have his name on the scoreboard this time, but you can see that they're actually looking to walk all the way up towards this B side. A wall is set up as well. Here comes a curveball to come through, and they should get this plant quite easy. So it's going to be a retake play right now from T1, coming in with 3 players from the A side, Cypher on the flank, and 1 at garage side with the Raze.
We've already got that spike down, and in my opinion, this is one of the hardest retakes to execute on. There's so many angles to cover in through the courtyard, and already they're getting into their post-plant positions. And you touched on this a little bit earlier on. Nobody really defends that B site, and we're seeing that here to kick us off. Cypher can be roaming from the side, but he might need to pick up on that process. It's Wardell, he finds the first one. Hayes as well to answer back, but it's AZK that'll get the job done. They're just gonna hop in through the window, pushing through, trying to get the frags they need. All down to the 1v2, and it's just easy pickings here for TSM. A little bit of pandemonium, but they were able to get it down on lock.
That's how you started, man. And it had to come up big with Crashies on that flank, but Crashies took a little bit too long, which gave a chance right there for TSM to just focus on that battle towards that front of B side. By the time that Crashies came out, we had that raise from Brax that was coming out towards that garage, so people were already focused on fighting him. Where Crashies come out, 2 easy kills to come across right there. So TSM, great way to play that pistol, great way to just say, look, we're not going to try to do anything fancy, just walk into B, put a wall up, very default, very basic, get the plant, and play the post plant, and it worked out perfect. Now this round though, Brax spotted towards the garage.
Yeah, now look, they're looking already towards C. Of course, T1 don't really have the weaponry to answer back. They'll try their best, but already we're going to see a horde of TSM fans starting to push in through long. They'll make their way onto the site. It's going to be the flash as well that potentially ends Braxton. Something that we have yet to really touch on is that he's not on the Omen this time around, playing the Raze. See if that plays a factor as the match continues. But that spike's going to go down, and it's T1's job now to get that retake.
Yeah, definitely. Talking to Fraud as the coach right now, says, look, usually we could use Brax as a second operator if we wanted to, but we don't really because he's the playmaker, he's the entry fragger. That's why you see him playing these duelist agents. At the same time, though, flashpoints are coming through, full blind, but Hayes still gets the kill. Now another one jumps forward, but he still at least gets the kill on the Cadoodle before. Drone then comes back. Hayes somehow still manages to stay alive in that no matter what, so I guess it was another teammate that fell down towards this C garage, but he did a good job, and that's 3 Ks coming in for Hayes, and that's going to be 2-0 right now for TSM.
And, you know, of course, TSM is here to send a message, but this is going to be the first competitive round when it comes to weaponry. Phantom's online for the side of T1. We'll see how they're able to stop these pushes from coming forward, and TSM are going to have to respect their opponents a little bit more in this round because they know that they have the weaponry. So we're going to see how this competition unfolds before our eyes, and so far it's looking like a little bit of a stack towards C for the side of T1. See if that's going to be the correct call.
Yeah, and actually for TSM, they're not upgrading. So something different that we saw from T1, where when it came to the gun round, it just didn't want to have this bonus round, as we call it, and then just go for full upgrades. These guys are still working with Spectres and with Marshals, and Drone is going to be the first one that's going to try to look for first blood, but there's nobody playing towards the A side. Very passive play towards the heaven with the camera spotted, and everybody else is trying to look for information towards B. And you see it from this minimap. B is pretty much open. You have rotators playing across, but you're not really having anybody trying to anchor inside that site, and that gives a chance right now for TSM to move in.
Yeah, that spike's going to go down. A nice attempt there from the spray down through the smoke. Not going to find anybody. Not even going to take anyone down in terms of HP. You'll see now T1 start to triangulate onto their position. There's going to be one pushing down long as well. Wardell smells that something's cooking. He's going to be looking down the Marshal. Will he get the shots that he needs? Actually going to be caught between a rock and a hard place. Down to 8 HP. Around the corner goes AZK. Will take him down. And now the rest of Team 1, they're going to start to pinch in their opposition. 1 kill goes through, but it's TSM that'll be able to defend the site. And now it's going to be 1 more here for Cadoodle, trying to salvage the round. That spike's ticking. It's a 1v2. 1 will come in, but it's Hayes that'll clean things up. The last janitor clock in for the night. And a good round here for TSM. 3-0 start for them.
And small mechanical things. You see from Wardell missing the shot with the Marshal, but he dashes backwards, puts 2 smokes on the ground, really wasting the bullets of who he was facing head-to-head, and I think that was AZK if I'm not mistaken. Just small things like that, even though he lost that fight, forces a reload off his opponent, gives it time and information to tell his teammates that they're getting flanked at the same time so they can prepare for that retake, and it worked out perfectly for them. They didn't get an upgrade, they got the round, and now it's an eco coming in for T1, where they have basically a 3-man stack towards B, and 2 pushing very slowly towards long A.
I'm very interested to see how this is going to pan out for the side of T1. They've been playing a little bit kind of loosey-goosey, sending a couple of members to varying sites to try to anticipate where TSM is going to go, but this time around they're playing a little bit more passively, and we'll see what that's going to end up being. They've got a minute 15 left on the clock, and they'll start to make their way towards A. Crashies waiting on the opposite side. The flash might be the end of him, and it's going to be a quick kill for Cutler. They'll start to potentially funnel through, and only Skadoodle will be there to defend the site.
Yeah, now we saw that heal coming up. That's going to put Drone back at 100. He's making a lot of noise. He's going to get hurt from this B side, but nobody's really rotating yet because they just want to stack up on tight angles to hold this B. But everybody right now stacked up for the attackers of TSM to walk towards C, where there's no opposition met as of yet. Closest opposition is going to be Brax, who's going to rotate back between Garage and B side. But with the amount of firepower that they had and how comfortable they look on this map now of Haven, it's going to be a tough one here for Brax to hold, but he's winning at the angle right now.
Good paint shells, though. Little does he know that's perfect timing. Not going to find anybody, and there's going to be already quick kills that are traded back and forth. I think that barrier orb coming up a little too late. Oh, sorry, it's just Drone roaming in through the courtyard. They'll get that spike down with Brax sending a couple of those shots through the smoke, none of which will connect. And now it's Wardell waiting on the opposite side. The retake here for T1, not going to be quite good as they don't really have the weaponry to deal with it.
That's right. You already see one walking back towards A. I'm assuming it's going to be that kill that they got to try to save, I think, a Phantom that was left behind there. But you do have Sabrosa. Skadoodle is trying to go silently down those stairs, and he's like being very, very careful, but not careful enough as he gets executed there. Brax is looking back towards that window. Not going to spot anybody yet as we look from this mini-map. Oh, there's that one contact onto Cutler, and they're still trying to hunt him down. That's quite interesting that they're still doing that, because he gets another kill here. He's going to have the showstopper ready into the next round, so just try to save your weapons at this point.
Yeah, I think that was pretty much the only correct call they can make for T1. And Brax made it a little bit expensive for the side of TSM, but of course already 4 rounds deep means that their momentum is really starting to turn up. See if T1 are able to answer back. We're seeing an operator here on Skadoodle. A little bit of the untold story that we want to touch on is the battle of the ops here. Wardell versus Skadoodle. Wardell not really having an impactful start. Has really been the rest of his team picking up, I wouldn't even call it slack, just really being there first. See if T1 Skadoodle will be able to out-op Wardell.
Yeah, you see it from the gameplay too. We have the riflers that are really putting a lot of aggression, a lot of control on that last map on Ascend, trying to do the same thing here. Like the ones that are pushing forward, it's still Drone. Wardell's more as a support. If he loses that fight and they're still trying to push forward, he could trade out. They're not utilizing Wardell as an opener right now. It's really Drone as we're in his eyes right now, trying to look back inside the site. But again, still a very slow play, but an execution into A, and we are now committing for TSM.
Cutler going to get that spike down. T1, they're now tasked with the retake, a very difficult one as well. When you hear the run it back, let's go is what Drone says, and you'll get a face full of lead from the operator, but that barrier orb going to be going up there as well. Still, it is T1 as the spike ticks down, looking to try to break their way through into the site, and they'll do so one at a time in a single file line, which is good for TSM. They'll be able to pick them off one at a time, and Drone swings maybe a little too late, but it's just pandemonium here on the site. Kills going both which way, but TSM will come out wiser as they will find everything they need, all down to food. Does not check behind him. Hayes will take that one down. Actually, it will be the second last player remaining, Hayes and Sabrosa. But that was crazy. Yeah. It was a crazy retake.
I think that was
T1.
Probably the best execution I've ever seen towards this A site there, Simo, because you had to run him back. He didn't actually fully run yet. He wanted to get information first waited for the stage wall to pop it up before he actually looked out. Okay, I saw 1-2 players. Now as they break the wall, he goes for a curveball. He dies, yes, maybe, but he gets the information of 2 guys blinded for the trade. But meanwhile, while all that information happens, you have Sabrosa that's actually flanking on this B side into the B connector to actually get those 2 kills after the orbital strike. So that's just tremendous teamwork to capitalize and pin in against your opponents. But this time, T1 says, all right, we want to regain our control. Push it forward right now is going to be easy. Taking in the headshot onto Wardell too, but it's traded off. We're trying to get a res at the same time, but it's still a 1-minute advantage. Make that only 1 person alive here on the attacker side, and that is going to be Hayes. With the spike at least on this 4 versus 1. He's made it inside B, but this could probably be the last run.
Kill my allies.
Not gonna lie to you, Vancilli, that was just a very lucky read from T1. They stacked 4, 2 through the sewers and 2 down long. Of course, it was Wardell that was able to updraft up and see them down long, but still they weren't anticipating 2 to come through the sewers. And then the orbital strike on top of it to kind of finish. It was very difficult for TSM to anticipate that there was going to be a 4 stack towards running right straight towards them, but a good play from T1.
Yeah, now Hayes gets that first kill, gets the spike at least. So you have a silver lining right now in this story. Can he actually clutch now a 5 versus 1? Flashpoint does not do any power at all, but flash his own teammate. But Food still manages to come out to get the kill. He gets dinked, but that's it. It's a phantom. And now that spike is going to get defused, and T1 will finally put the first point on the scoreboard here, Simo.
You know, chat, why don't you tell me if you like the Phantom or the Vandal? Because I'm starting to wonder, we've seen a lot of Phantoms, probably more so than the Vandals, and I'm wondering if it's this smoke meta, well, we're not seeing an Omen here, but if it's this multiple smoke meta that is really pushing Phantoms. You're trying to play a closer range, and as a result, the Phantom really bodes well for you. And when you have multiple smokes, especially with the Omen, you can really get that job done quite easily because you can just smoke them out and push through, right? Haven't really seen a whole lot of Vandal play. We've seen Crashies here with it, but the rest of the squad really just rocking with the Phantoms here. So, chat, why don't you let me know what you prefer as you're climbing out of Iron. But the match at hand, it is T1 now trying to defend from TSM.
Food pushing down aggressively under this window, but it's pretty far, and so far he stays alive. Drone still looking for this information. It seems as though a default right now for TSM, try to have Drone look towards that sewer side, and then everybody else work towards this mid. And now at least, though, Sabrosa gets that first kill, and that seems to be towards that under window again. Yes, so that aggression did not pay off, and that Brimstone orbital strike has been canceled out of this round. Drone still looking up, though, through the crosshair at this heaven side, and Crashies is the one that's going to spot them moving forward.
Yeah, Crashy's going to be waiting behind the box, and he's going to smell that he's being closed in on. It's a quick kill, though, but Drone will find 2 to make that very punishing for the side of T1. Down to 2 final members. It's Brax alongside the Breach player. They're going to slowly make their way in. They've got the weaponry here, but they don't really have the man advantage. Brax going to find one, trying to get down into hell. Here comes the showstopper to make it very difficult, and they're going to try to divide and conquer. They will end up getting 2 frags, but at what cost? It's their lives. Wardell there with the last and final frag. 6-1, the scoreline. T1's having a hard time.
It just looks cool on the kill feed. Not necessarily on a showstopper, but when you get kills with like hot hands, Molotovs, or an aftershock into that last round, it's just nice to see that abilities could also do a lot of power there. AZK getting that kill with the aftershock as the Breach. But the final result is that TSM, the op of Wardell, sort of back right there. He got a nice crisp shot into the Heavens line, and we could see if we could continue on, rather, on this first map. As they now take the lead by 5. They're looking to split off here the economy, once again, of T1, who I don't think should be on such a healthy buy into this round.
A good peek there from T1. Unfortunately, not able to connect with the shot. This will result in the execute. Drone going to be using run it back to try to get as much intel as possible. He's going to get taken down a couple of shots there, but that's the clone, so doesn't really need to worry too much. It's now Skadoodle that's going to be pushing up quite aggressively through the smoke with the operator and the boost up. Let's see if this bodes well for him. The orbital strike going to find one here for Food, and but it's TSM that back away. Skadoodle going to find one on the retreat. Retake, it's looking spicy so far.
Ooh, the Boombot kill onto Drone. That clock is still ticking on that spike. Cutler trying to stay alive, gets that first kill. Stuck on a 4 versus 2, make that a 4 versus 1, and the Jet cannot come out. with an operator kill onto AZK. And it's a tough round to win there. I mean, you had everything against you. You had the orbital strike coming in towards B that takes down the spike planner. Then you have a neural theft come out to give away all of your positions. So any type of post-plant situation was fully nullified. And a very tough one to win. Good one for T1 to put a second one onto the board. But now they have to reset the ultimate points while TSM has 2 in their bank.
You know, this is actually an important round for T1 to win because it'll build up a lot of momentum to close out the half. The economy won't be there for the side of TSM, especially after a loss. So we'll see how this round pans out. I mean, TSM have had quite a good showing to start us off, but T1 have started to poke and prod their way through the strategies and have pretty good answers for some of these takes. So if they win this round, the economy will be beneficial for them and not for TSM, but it's up to them to win the round.
Yeah.
Doodle getting tagged a bit, a little bit of a love tap as he sees the Cypher cross over towards Sewer. And they actually had 2 players to start things off there at the beginning of the round, but Skadoodle rotates back towards that B. Meanwhile, we have made it in. The same type of strategy that TSM likes to do. Just put the wall up, try to move in, the flash. He finally trades it out, but Crashes is there as well. But the spike has yet to be planted.
Prepared for hellfire.
Oh, Cutler's in a great position. He's going to take down ACK, but it's Food that is trying to scramble the pieces together, try to find something for his team down to the 2v2 here. Now Neural Theft going to make that a very difficult retake. Sabrosa, he's got himself an operator and a dream, but he's going to move that spike over towards the A site. Unfortunately for him, his team player is on the opposite side of the map. He's going to have to make his way over as soon as possible. As T1, they're going to group together and potentially look for this retake.
Yeah, the advantage there, at least on that retake, is that T1 was also kind of split up. So a lot of time is being wasted right now for these 2 players to move together. Sabrosa at least gets a good position after the spike plant. Now finally Cutler is moving forward from the spawn into the sewers. Actually, he's walking towards long. So they're going to have 1 player towards long, 1 player towards sewer. He throws the molly early as well, and he's staying with the operator inside that smoke. Here's the double shots coming through from both players rotating inside defender spawn. Boombot trying to move forward as well. Satchel charges coming across as Brax gets the first kill. Then a second kill across. Does he have enough time? Not enough time, unfortunately. So the round will come in favor of TSM. 7-2 on the scoreboard, and just at the limit, Brax is able to save his Phantom.
Yeah, he felt that spike coming in, nipping at his tippy toes, but he'll make his way out alive. Unfortunately for them, they did not win the round. They were able to save the Phantom, of course, and Brax can be happy about that, but that means TSM, their economy still isn't in the greatest shape, but at least a win in their books is 3,000 credits in their pocket, and they'll try to put together what they can. This is the type of Valorant that I love to see when the economy is just in a horrible place for both teams, to see what are they able to do, and it also nullifies double op play. And so they have to play standard and rely on their executes rather than the beneficial one-shot kill of the operator.
And this is what I like to see as well, Simo, because sometimes when you're playing pubs before, you're like, oh, I don't have enough money, I'm just going to buy a Sheriff, or I'm just going to buy a Ghost. I don't see viability in the Bulldog. Because I see these pro players are using the Bulldog a lot into this situation when they have that money, I've been starting to use it as well, and it's starting to be actually not so bad as a gun. Aiming on the side is only a 3-shot burst, but not aiming on the side is still quite accurate with it, too. So it's still a very viable weapon. This round, though, with the round that they had, it's still a 5-on-5 situation despite the spike being planted towards C.
It's a good smoke there for T1 to try to cut off the communication from the side of TSM. And little do they know, they are waiting down long. The red carpet going to be rolled up, and unfortunately no celebrity's going to walk through. It's T1 back walks through, trying to get onto that side. They'll get that spike down. Drone going to play aggressively, not even going to find a frag. The hero play not going to work out. It's T1. They're going to divide and conquer, but TSM, they've got a general of their own. Hayes takes down 2. Brax trying to finish the defuse, all down to Skadoodle, and that will be a round for TSM, and a good one, a great one at that.
Is he going to save his weapon? It was so close. Just around the corner, Skadoodle is waiting there. But yes, it's going to be the round no matter what here for TSM. That means the economy is fully broken now for T1. Only the Phantom to work with on their side. We're still going to have a pretty low buy for the attackers at least, where a Bulldog versus a Sheriff could still be viable for T1. But on a 5-on versus 5 retake, I gotta commend how T1 actually made that very close, because a big whiff came in from Drone after that curveball inside the C entrance, but at least the trades were there, the spray was there through the smoke too, they knew where the spike was planted, and Hayes was able to get that double kill, including the spike diffuser. So 8-2 now, 2 more rounds to go in this first half. A couple of enemies spotted from the defenders onto the attackers, thanks to the Cypher camera.
You know, I'm not going to lie, this really does look like Ascent, except the roles are reversed. TSM is the one that is spanking T1 to out of existence. So it looks like we might see a map number 3. Not going to count out T1 just yet, but they have really struggled to find an answer up against TSM. And like you said, some of their retakes are close, but close isn't going to cut it when they just win the round. And see now how they're going to be looking towards this A side. Unfortunately for the side of T1, they're all grouped up here together, so TSM will call that rotate back around, and we'll see if they're able to get that spike over to B or over to C.
Out of charges.
Right now, Sabrosa getting information. We do have a showstopper to come out. Sabrosa stays alive, and he's doing such a great job to keep everybody towards B while everybody's dashing towards the C side, and it starts off with the Jet and the Brax. That's going to get the kill on to Wardell, but at least 2 players fall down. A res comes up. Skadoodle with the Phantom from that previous round does get the kill onto Sabrosa. Drops one in the garage for his teammates to rotate. So they're going to have 2 attempts, 2 weapons on the attempt of a retake here. But Drone is playing so close. It's going to be very hard right now for T1 to retake. If they don't get a kill in the next 5-10 seconds, or 5-7 seconds, sorry, they should fall back and save their weapons.
Yeah, they're just getting a couple of those spray shots through. Drone gonna play a little bit aggressive, gonna punish Skadoodle for standing there with his pants down, but Mood will answer back, AZK as well, but Drone, he nose grinds off the top of that door entryway and punishes the Breach player. What a beautiful finish there. Wow, last round of the half.
Style
this is
points,
a great matchup.
style points.
Yeah.
I love it. So we talk about the crisp aim of Drone, but he's got sick movement as well. And undeniably, probably the best Phoenix so far.
Yeah, and he's waiting for Skate 4 as well. That nose grind off the top of the door, he's got to put his...
That or Tony Hawk.
Yeah. Has he been taking lessons from... Has he been taking lessons from Efrod or from Tony Hawk? I don't know, but either one.
Chat,
he's doing
the
a great
ones
job.
that love Phantom, do you guys like Skate 4? The ones that like Vandals, do you guys like Tony Hawk? Nonetheless, though, back with the action, back to a gun round, and already a dink through the wall inside B puts Skadoodle with no armor force to use his heal at the beginning of the round, which is going to be huge right now for TSM if they want to try to split into the C site.
TSM have done a great job of keeping it very ambiguous where they're going to go. What site are they going to hit? They sometimes start off with A, or they'll go directly towards B after stalling for enough time. This time it's going to be C directly. T1, of course, are ready for this. Run it back, going to be used here by Drone. 1 and 2 comes right through the door, down to 33, but it doesn't matter. It's run it back, and he finds 2 quick kills.
Yeah, and on top of that, he only got damage for... probably lost his armor. Yeah, he only lost his armor. Back at 100 HP now. Looking for more information. Almost a hat trick there, but he gets saved from a Skadoodle with the operator. At least he can give that information for his team that there's 2 players inside the defender spawn. Little did he know, though, that it's all 3 of them are trying to move forward. Orbital's trying to come down. Wardell lands the first, lands the second, looking for the third, but it's stolen by Cutler, and we end the half 10-2 in favor of TSM. A one-sided affairs on their attacker side.
I mean, we talked about TSM feeling very comfortable on Haven. We're seeing that right before our very eyes. The repercussions of the pistol could be very detrimental to T1, so they need to make sure that they shape up and use some of those strategies. But let's have a quick look at that dragon camera. Look at that. Look at the beautiful architecture. Love to see it.
It's dope. If only it could spit fire. There's actually a bridge in Da Nang in Vietnam that's actually built out of steel, and at 9 p.m. every single day, it actually shoots out fire, and during the day, it shoots out water. It's pretty cool. You guys should check it out. Vietnam Pride.
That sounds difficult to engineer. That sounds difficult to actually have a valve for fire and a valve for water.
It's really nice to see. It's a tourist attraction. Nonetheless, though, let's focus on this pistol round. We do have aggression moving with the Brimstone of Sabrosa. So much information. First headshot onto AZK as well. And at least he hasn't spawned anybody else, but they're trying to chase after him. And look at the jump through, but Food gets the kill as well onto the Jet. So that's Wardell the fall, and Skadoodle is taking control to heal onto the Cypher. And now mid control comes in favor of T1 and also a 1-minute advantage.
Yeah, was Skadoodle playing Jet there, or was he playing Sage? I'm not quite sure. He just hopped on out, but Drone, he's going to answer back with Crashy. Skadoodles were there for the refrag down to the 2v3, and it's looking like T1 are starting to shape up their attacker side exactly how they want it with a win on the round.
I love it. It's not like, hey, let's panic and just try to hold angles when we lost a player on an aggressive pusher. Let's turn around and just rush back. And it just turned out very well for T1 actually with the trade system that they had. Now because of that, they're walking into A. Brax already has cover inside the defender spawn. Should be an easy plant coming through, and looks like it's planted for pretty much everything. And that is spawn, that is sewers, and that is long A, a wall to come up to, and a wall on pistol. You guys have seen it from the videos from T1 from AZK. When that wall comes up on pistol, it's very hard to break. It should be around coming in for T1, but still a good fight coming in from the defender side.
Yeah, one going to be splitting up towards Heaven, maybe trying to get a couple of those exit frags on the way out. I'm not quite sure how effective this push in is going to be. It's 2v3, lots of angles covered. Brax going to try to find the one up in Heaven. Food going to take out Cutler. Hayes actually going to deal with Brax quite handily, but down to 77 HP, going to heal up as well. Going to make things very difficult for T1. But a simple round for the side of the attack. They will find a round on the board, and quite honestly, they desperately needed that, especially if TSM win the pistol. It's very close to them actually winning the entire game.
Yeah. And now I love it. We see the shorties coming out as well from Drone and Sabrosa. Probably going to hold those tight angles where they could actually get some effective kills. We've seen Drone play towards sewers a lot on the attacker side. He's doing the same thing on the defender side. I think, though, that T1 should see this coming because this is something that's typical from Drone in his gameplay. But it's Drone, and he's got curveballs if he wants to. So it could still be very good for him to try to get those close-range kills. Meanwhile, though, because they know that, there's only Crashies that's moving forward.
Ooh. Oh, Drones on the other side. I'm not sure if he's got a shorty. I know that he bought it, but then it looked like he dropped it. Probably the shorty because he wants to play at close range. The last time I saw shorty,
it's a big game.
Great effect. Yeah. We'll see what happens. It's looking like T1 are playing very resilient so far. They've got the spike towards B. I think Crashies is just trying to catch any of those rotates back around.
Exactly. Yeah, after Cutler doesn't see anybody for quite a while, you could even see Drone walking back, and as soon as the spike is going to get planted towards B, they're going to rotate on the other way at least. Crashies is not waiting close by to get the kills, so Crashies is just going to hold flank for quite a while, but the action is going to be mainly happen towards his B side, and also with the Brimstone that's watching the flank here at Garage.
Drone, oh, he sees one, saw the gun. It's going to be Brax, tries to get the hop on out there. It's the double shorty action. AZK going to find one. Cutler manages through the pandemonium to find one onto Brax. They'll finally make their way through towards the B site. The rest of the T1 members, they're up here in the courtyard trying to take down these remaining few members, but it's very difficult for TSM to push through. They don't have the weaponry. Crashies already takes down Drone, and it's all up to 2 with that spike ticking down very quickly.
That's right, you just want to look for exit kills at this point, build orbital points, and it's not going to happen as both Hayes and Cutler, the veterans of the team, are going to die simultaneously into this round, 10-4. Gun round coming through now for the defenders. Will we see an upgrade for T1, or is it going to be the same scenario as TSM did on that first half? So far, it's being mirrored. It's the attack towards his B side versus pistols. Even the pistol round, okay, changed a bit because they attack towards the A side, but they know that when they're facing off against pistol and to get the upper hand with the weapons, it's an easier plant for B main for them to hold back all the way towards the window side. This round, though, there is not going to be an upgrade for T1, and they're going to try to move forward, and same thing for Wardell. Can he connect with the shot? He's already inside the sewers, looking for that first kill, but he's not going to see anybody there. Everybody else, though, is trying to push forward inside this garage where Cutler is currently waiting.
Smoke's down.
Yeah, he's backed away. I think he heard something was a little bit up. They'll break down those doors quite handily. Still have yet to push in. It's T1 playing a little bit safer. As the time ticks down, they've got a minute 13 left on the clock. They'll decide that they're going to be going towards this C side, but Sabrosa, he's waiting for anyone else. I wouldn't let those smokes go down, Sabrosa. I would take him out right now, but I think he's waiting for them to go down. Man, he's really biding his time. Like, I'm still casting this as it's happening. Wait, no. It would... Please.
He's going to knife him.
Oh my God, please do it. Take it out.
That is
Be a
insane.
man.
I can't
Take out
believe
the
it.
knife.
But here's the thing,
Oh
right?
my
The
God.
walls came up,
Oh,
and there you
we
go. Because he tries to execute it, now there's no more smokes. That was huge right now from Sabrosa. Wall gets broken, Skadoodle at least gets the kill onto Hayes. Now Sabrosa moves back into B as he places smokes himself. And now everybody's falling back towards the window, even rushing towards the A side with only 26 seconds left on the clock here, Simo.
Yeah, they got to make sure that this executes perfect. But guess who's going to be waiting on this other side? It's Wardell
Let's
with
go.
the operator looking down from heaven. How many can he get? He's going to have his pick of the litter. They're going to be making their way through both sides. But it's Brax with the early shot through the breakable walls there. And that's going to be Crashies as well, finding one at the drone. It looked too good to be true. Wardell there almost had the highlight reel, but he was taken out so quickly. And now they have to get that retake cooking.
How does that happen? So much, well, little information, I guess, at that point. It does make sense. They should know that the other guys are executing inside this garage, but they didn't really try to counter it at that point because the wall came up and you still had Cypher. Cutler is watching towards the garage door from the spawn side. So as they get the kill, they have no information right after that. Everybody falls back into the garage. Everybody's rotating on the defender side as well towards C. And it just gave an open sight and 3 guys to rush into only an operator at heaven. Very hard to try to hold. It should have been a round for TSM because of how long we waited on that kill from Sabrosa. But T1, they just booked it. 30 seconds left on the clock. They're confident on the rotations.
I'm not gonna lie, great presence of mind from Brax to shoot through, just to make sure that, you know, if there was somebody there, they would have to peek now or forever hold your peace, you know. And for the side of Wardell, he definitely held his peace, and that operator now not going to be in play for the side of the defense. They're not even really going to have the weaponry to tangle at all. Their best dancing shoes are back in the lockers in the gym room. We'll see now how T1 are able to shape up their offense this time around, but I have a feeling they're going to slowly chip away at that buffer that TSM have of rounds to win.
Well, it started off here with Sabrosa trying to play aggressive towards the doors. It's been sprayed off here by the attacker side. You do have drone inside sewers too. And now they're just going to try to get these one-shots with the Sheriffs. Nice Sato charges to break the trap wires, towards along A. Brax maybe even might take the advantage to try to take that orb because he's close to, I think, the showstopper, if I'm not mistaken. I think he only needed 1 orb to look back and win that one there. And there you go. Okay, it was 2 away, so he's got at least going to pick that up. But it's still going to be very slow, knowing right now that TSM is on an eco. They don't want to walk into a stack. And it starts off there with Sabrosa, still looking for information from that garage side. Gets that first kill onto AZK.
I mean, didn't he do that before in the pistol? Like, he's just constantly finding these opportunities for him to catch somebody from T1, maybe a little bit out of position or just not looking in the right way, dealing with the opposition that is looking for those lurkers and punishing it. But so far, T1, they're not quite ready yet to push in towards this A site. The information that they gathered is not enough for them to really push through. The resurrection means that they might think about going somewhere else, but still committed towards this A site as they'll funnel back in. Now they'll have to see how they push in. It's Brax finding Wardell as he tries to get some jump viewing shot, and it's already a couple of kills on the site. It's Cutler, it's ACK, Crashies, and Skadoodle. Will they be able to get that spike down? The orbital strike gonna take down Skadoodle to 30, and there's no time. The barrier orb going up. 3 seconds remain. A difficult round to lose, but they lose it nonetheless.
Dude, that was so good right there. Because they wasted so much time to get into the site for T1, you still had an orbital strike. And I don't even know if that orbital strike... Okay, I think it was there already from the beginning of the round. Yes, indeed. And then he just used that and prevented the plant to go down, and they won the round just from that. The way that... It started off so well, at least for T1, because that was the second time that Brax just destroyed Wardell with a jump peek. And then when he moved inside the site, the crosshair was perfect there for TSM. Made it so difficult for them to move inside that site. And then the orbital strike just won that. So that's going to be now TSM moving forward. 11-5 into this round. And Sabrosa is moving back inside the garage for information. But meanwhile, though, they have lost players at the beginning of the round. And everybody's looking to reassess back towards this A side for T1.
You know, for TSM, that round really just gave them a much easier buffer to work with They want to close things out. Smoke's going to be going down here for the A site. Orbital strike as well, going to put Wardell a very difficult position. He's going to drop down. Unfortunately, cannot connect the shot. A couple of kills already traded away. Run it back as well. Going to be tried to use push through, but it's quickly dealt with. Now they'll have relative control of the site, but still TSM, they're holding on and trying to fight back.
Yeah, Rez is gonna, it's gonna be a wall coming up here from Skadoodle, who does get the shot onto Cutler. That was beautiful there at the defender spawn, and on top of that, spotted 2 other players leaning back out, aftershock coming through from the hell, but nobody else is re-peeking yet. But there is a player just around the corner, and that shot is missed. Now Drone gets the wall bang, or should I say the headshot onto Skadoodle, and AZK trades it back. Hayes moving forward, Crashies now, the last man standing, gets a 1 versus 1. A Rez to make it a 2 versus 1. He's coming around the corner, gets the first kill, looks back, runs out of bullets. Can he stay alive now? Only with a classic. That clock is still ticking down. Sabrosa gets the kill, and a defuse will come across now for TSM. He should have enough time.
He had
another clutch situation.
14. Oh,
that's insane. That's
1
insane.
second. If Crashies just had a pocket full of posies, he would have continued the ring around the rosy. He would have successfully denied that defusal. But
or just 3 more bullets in his clip.
Yeah. But now for TSM, that's match point. This is exactly what we, talked a little bit about, how TSM does feel a little bit more comfortable on Haven. They had the attacker side first. They got it out of the way, and it was a great attacker side, 10-2. T1, they're just trying to even the odds back around, but TSM, they're making it very difficult for them to do so.
Definitely, and now things are changing a little bit here for the defender side. Operator look forward towards long C, putting Drone in a different position instead of Sewers, but they don't have that information that they actually have the Cypher moving down towards Sewer from the attacker side. So that is going to give a chance there for them to watch the flanks, watch the rotations, but once again, you do have T1 trying to work back towards this B/garage area.
Very interesting position that Crashies finds themselves in. Doesn't know that Drone is on the other side, not even really close to the sewers, but very close to flanking him potentially. So far, T1, they flirted with the idea of going through the garage, but they'll back away ever so slightly. It's still their opportunity to push in. 50 seconds left on the clock, looking towards B this time, but it's Wardell on the other side with the op. Going to be very scary to push in. Oh! Oh, that's going to be 2. Sabrosa will answer back as well. And this is looking like TSM's round to win. 2 here remain for T1. They're trying to divide and conquer. Push in from both angles. Food waiting on the windowsill here. Going to try to make his way through the garage. Crashies with 1, but it's quickly dealt with. And A's will give us the last and final round. TSM taking us to map number 3. And that's going to be a beauty for them. They have to be happy that they're still in this. They're still in it to win it. And let's have a quick look at that scoreboard to really show us how these 2 teams really shaped up.
Yeah, you would have expected for Food and Crashies on a 2 versus X situation that you wouldn't want any other 2 players to try to win that one, but unfortunately, it just showed how TSM looks much stronger, a much different TSM than what we've seen on Ascent, and it was just Drone. We talked about him before. A little bit quiet on Ascent, but we saw how good he was on the entries with the run it backs.